Get him, get him.
Oh my God!
Calm down. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here.
Oh, yeah! Yeah, dude!
Dude.
6 pounds, 11 ounces. Oh,
Oh my. Limp. That's what I've been waiting for all day.
that's over 6.
True. And that one's, oh, here he goes. Go. Good?
That's a big fish.
Full hand on tail. Yeah, it looks sick. Good to go.
Look how broad that thing is.
I wonder if that was the one that followed me in.
Beautiful. Oh my God. Holy sh! God. What a beast.
Oh, wow. That might be a 4. That might be a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4. You guys show that off too. 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Holy. Oop.
Another good one.
Holy sh! What the? Is that another 6?
Could be.
It's the second giant of the day, proving that point. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yes!
Big baits, big fish. There we go. 5 pounds, 6 ounces. Beauty! Dude, I'm not even joking. It happened again.
You kidding me?
Nope.
Is it big?
Oh! That's strong.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
That's a fat fish, dude. Come on,
4.
holy. Dude. Holy hell, that's long.
Yeah, it is.
5, 4, 6. What?
Yeah. Let's rock.
Got him. Get in here, you. There's another 6. You. That's a big fish.
6'10". Woo-hoo-hoo. Big old fatty.
Howdy. And welcome back.
Oops, sorry.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Jeez, what an intro.
It's a Monday. Chill out, everyone.
Introduction. Everyone, all 11 of them so far. We are, it's Monday, it's not Wednesday.
Are we
But-
opposite on here now?
What, I don't know. What are you
No.
talking about?
No, I feel like normally.
No, I'm always way to the other side.
Yeah, he's way over there. All the time.
Really?
Yeah. It's not mirrored.
It's a camera. It's opposite.
I understand that, but I
I
feel
mean,
like
it's mirrored.
I don't know. It is mirrored.
You're getting lost in the
No,
weeds
it's
on
not
things.
mirrored.
You get lost in the what?
Lost in the weeds.
I do.
I'm in the
all
weeds.
the time. Grass
Well-
fishing.
Welcome back, everybody, and apologies for all the delays and everything on behalf of my employer. It's been a minute, 3 months. It was good. Don't get me wrong. It was busy. There's no other way to put it. It's same stuff always talked about, but thankfully, finally, we've cleared the hurdle. ICAST was the hurdle, and we hit almost every single milestone we had to hit for that. So, in the next, we'll say probably 2 or 3 months, I fully returned to normalcy at my job, but I'm mostly going to be back to normal moving forward. Now, the only reason we're doing this on Monday instead of Wednesday is because my family and I are going on vacation starting tomorrow afternoon, not back till late Friday. So that is why Monday, but then other than that, we're going to roll forward with Wednesdays from here on out. There are going to be 2 Wednesdays in the midst of that, middle of August and the middle of September, that I will be on the road on Lake Champlain for various tournaments. But we're still going to stick to Wednesdays. I'm just going to figure out how to make it work with just the 3 of us all calling in. And we'll make it happen, but I want to stick to Wednesdays at 8 like we always do from here on out. And that would definitely be a good thing because we are extremely short on average viewers compared to what we normally have.
16.
It's usually 60 something by this point. It is what it is. I appreciate all of you that showed up to watch us
Monday is a
on
Monday.
this random Monday. Here's the thing. I have mentioned this many a time. I am like the worst YouTuber in the sense of community-wise for like fellow content creators. I know almost nobody, and I know like nothing for what people do on YouTube because I don't watch anything myself. I don't have time. I literally get to watch like 1 or 2 videos on my lunch, and that's it. And it has nothing to do with fishing. It's completely unrelated. But it helps with a nice little mental reset before I go back in. It's video games.
Oh, it's video games.
No. So I'm curious. Is there any other channel that regularly streams on Mondays that I'm not aware of? Mondays at 8?
What's Big Bass streams?
They're typically either
Thursday at
Tuesdays or
9,
Thursdays,
right?
but usually Thursdays. Because I think back in the day they used to do Wednesdays, and then when he came back and then they want to start in the regular, like we're gonna do Thursdays. I was like, because we don't do Wednesdays. I was like, why don't you guys can just do Wednesdays? He goes, no, we don't want to compete with you. I was like, fair enough.
All right.
I'll take it. It is what it is. But for those that are here, we got Gordy, Kevin, Mike, Dave, and Sean. Hope you're all doing wonderful. And then I'm sure there's plenty of other here that I haven't seen.
And 20 others.
Smallmouth Crush streams on Mondays. That's problematic. It is what it is. I cannot
Not really.
fault people for going to watch him over us because he I've only caught a couple of his streams, but he typically does like 200 plus people per stream.
Yeah,
that are
he's got
like
a lot.
watching on the regular.
Mhm.
He's got quite the crowd. But enough of that. Who cares about anybody else? We care about you guys being here.
I just rigged his damn boat.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask it. That took a while, huh?
What kind of boat is it?
Was it another Nitro?
2025 Camus.
Camus.
Oh, we got
Yeah,
Camus.
nice.
CX21?
Yes, it's pretty nice.
That is sexy.
Pretty
Did he?
nice.
Was that the one you sent me a picture of that had like 3 forward-facing sonar transducers on it?
Oh God.
234 is a 62
Yeah.
and a 360.
On yeah. Okay. Yep.
I'll show you.
So does he have 4 graphs on the front?
3, 2, 3.
Yeah.
3 and then 2 in back.
Hey man, if I made my living off of just fishing Lake Ontario on the St. Lawrence River,
Yeah.
better believe I'd be doing the same damn thing.
You think that he gets his boats like?
That's his trolling
Does he?
lure.
Yeah. Okay. I did see that. That was the one I
Jesus.
thought about. That's
There's one
ridiculous. We can't show it,
transducer
but
on the
we'll
bullet.
get
There's one transducer on a foresight. There's another the 62, which is the saltwater version,
500-foot range on that, by the way.
is mounted to the shaft, and then there's a 360. I will show you.
And yes, his other boat caught fire. Wait, send it to me on Discord, and I can just pull it up right there.
Do you think that he gets like? Obviously, they don't get free boats, but do you think that he gets them like deferred, where you have it for a year and then you sell it?
No, he still gets a hell of a deal, but I don't think it's deferred. I'm
No, he
guaranteeing
still
he still
has to
pays.
He
pay.
just makes payments on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But he gets a hell of a deal. Give us 1 second. We'll pull the picture up.
I'll put it
But-
in the gaming chat.
The plan for tonight is we are going to be talking a little bit about ICAST last week because I'm really excited about that. Also share a picture that I haven't shown anywhere else yet just because I haven't really had the time. And we're going to talk about deep water fishing tactics deep water summer tactics, because that is definitely what has been happening lately. We excelled with it this past Friday. Well, I say we, myself, Scott Town, who's there in the chat, and his buddy Kellen, and we had ourselves a day up in Maine. Before we move on to showing this picture, we were just talking about Travis Manson's boat. Do me a favor while you're all here, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, please leave a like. It helps immensely. If you haven't done so yet on YouTube, please subscribe. And on the Facebook side of things, if you're new here, if you're not following us on there, please do that as well.
Good to go.
That's something I have never asked for, so I appreciate it. Okay, so I need to. You said where'd you put it?
Gaming.
Discord or
stand up, I
regular,
can't see
wherever
it.
the hell we go. For games is.
This one, like mine, or on yours?
Oh, I put it into the room on the chat.
Which chat? Mine doesn't show anything new.
Is it
Oh, it could just be taking a minute. Send it to me on a DM. It'd be way easier.
on Discord?
Yeah.
Oh, I put it into the actual chat room.
You idiot.
Whoops.
What have you done?
While
I
we're waiting,
suck.
I don't want to wait. I want to get this picture up, and then we can roll into everything else, and then we can keep it kind of, sequential here and what we're talking about for the night. Did you figure it out yet?
I'm working on it.
All right, never mind. We're going out of order because I don't want to burn anybody's time. So one of the highlights that I had from ICAST was I got to meet 2 legends while I was out there, and it was amazing. There it is. I got to meet, first off, my buddy, Jerry Brusso, right there, dead center, with the hat, and his grandson, Hunter, which they both live, I mean, his whole family lives down in Florida, but he used to live in the same hometown that I'm currently living now.
Yeah, right here in town.
Yep. And I remember when I was a little kid, they used to do tournaments on the pond right in the middle of town, and it was always like a trout tournament, but Jerry was always there. And he was on the Ranger Pro team at the time, and he always brought a bunch of stuff. We'd do like casting, little demonstrations for all of us idiot kids going up like, oh my God, Jerry, you're a pro. And his oldest son, Matt, and I were in the same grade, and I had a lot of classes with him. So I've known Jerry for a very long time. He was very good friends with a gentleman across the pond from me and my dad. Like, they were all great.
The works?
Yep. So I went down there, and I missed Jerry last year, but I got to see him this year, and he was just 2 booths over. And I ran over, and we said hi, and he was like, dude, you got to come meet Roland and Jimmy. So he introduced me to Roland Martin, Jimmy Houston, which was amazing because literally grew up watching those guys with my dad. Anytime the show was on, like, him and I would plop our butts down on the couch, we watch these guys together. And it was amazing. So it was really cool to meet them. Jimmy was cool, a little distracted. He was on his phone quite a bit. Roland was an absolute gentleman. He like legitimately talked to me for a good 5 minutes and was asking me a ton of questions and stuff. It was just
cool.
It was nice.
Awesome.
I didn't feel like he was doing it out of, I don't know, like an obligation.
Yeah.
It just seemed like he was genuinely
Just a nice
talk.
guy.
Yeah. No, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
So that was one of my highlights from the thing. Okay, now we can show Andrew's picture, and I say it's Andrew's, but it's
Because it's
actually,
artsy.
It's art.
That's all I do is take artsy pictures.
Okay, I got it there. Bear with me 1 second. As soon as I can find my friggin' mouse.
It looks good on the big screen.
Stop screen, present, share screen. That one. Share. Whoa. Want to exit full screen. I think
There's a whole lot going on there.
I can't make it any bigger than that. The only thing I can do. Wow. No, don't do that. Okay. It is what it is. There is a lot going on there.
Yeah.
That is an understatement.
So there's 2 LVS 34s, so Garmin Live Scope 34s, and 1 LVS 62, which is the saltwater version, which you see in perspective right below the 360.
So how would you even have that set up to have 3 of them at once?
Because
one down, one. Like, what's the third one doing? I understand perspective and having down, but what's
You
the
have it
third
on a
one?
split screen.
well, they won't interfere with each other because the cone angle on them is so narrow.
Yeah, but then you just say that there's 3 live scope transducers.
Yes.
Yeah, so
But
there's
what
one
do you-
on it. There's one on a foresight, which is
But what are you using the third transducer for?
Oh, are they like all 3 and forward, or is one in perspective?
there's 2 in forward, and the 62 is in perspective.
Really?
Mhm.
Holy hell!
Mhm.
Maybe have to see everything.
Literally,
Jesus.
there's legitimately no reason for him to have 360 on that boat
You're not wrong there, especially when he's got the
because you can
62.
see structure out to 300 feet.
So is it just
in fresh water.
Is it just he has them like aimed in different directions so that he doesn't need to move it around?
Whichever way the trolling motor goes, the only one that you control, like separate from the trolling motor, is the one top left that's on the foresight turret.
That's outrageous.
Crazy.
Anyway. Yeah, well, money. It's nice to have it. I wish I had that kind of money. Holy hell.
So we did the math. It was for 12. It was like $16,000 just on the trolling motor.
Holy hell.
Something crazy like that. It was,
I mean,
plus 3 units on the front, 2 units on the back, and batteries.
There must be some crazy.
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-ching.
God, I have a hard enough time watching one. Yeah.
But he's a guide, and he doesn't need help finding fish, but whatever.
Has a limited amount of time.
Whatever, right? So
He can't
whatever
have a bad day.
whatever will help him find the fish faster for the clients is what he needs.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, you think about it. For him in that area, right at the mouth of the St. Lawrence and Lake Ontario, his typical day, he will cover 50,000-ish acres of water. Like traveling wise, he won't obviously fish all 50,000, but to give it scale, I mean, if you're not familiar with the area, look at a map and look at Chameau Bay, which is a really, really big bay up in the northeastern corner of Lake Ontario.
just
Close.
south of the mouth of where it empties into,
Bingo.
or where the lake empties into the river.
That bay alone is 9,000 acres. So it is 50% bigger than New Hampshire's second biggest lake, Squam Lake. That's just one bay. It doesn't include anything in the river and all the other islands outside in Lake Ontario and the lake itself. Like it's an obscene amount. So while that seems like overkill, given the perspective, I guess, for what he's doing, especially guiding, trying to get people, his clients on those fish on a regular basis, it almost seems like it's not enough.
It's kind of a necessity at that point.
Yeah, especially when it's like just
Especially
almost
when the
purely
customer's
smallmouth.
paying that much money to go out to catch
Right.
smallmouth,
Yeah, he ain't
little
cheap.
brown bass.
Right. Yeah, you're paying a lot of money. You better go out and have the best day
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
And you can never not have a good day out there.
Right.
On that topic of live scope and forward facing sonar in general, there is a gentleman that you and I, Andrew, know that is being one salty prick about us using it. And he's a guy that I considered a friend up until recently. Now he's just some salty old prick. And it's a shame that something is trivial as technology.
About using live sonar.
Yeah. In his eyes, anybody using it, it's just cheating. And there's zero skill.
You know what I
involved
say to
whatsoever.
people like that? I don't even know who it is.
You're
Go
going to be
fuck
surprised when you hear
yourself.
it. Yeah. But
Who cares?
No, and like,
We're fun fishing. It doesn't matter. It's
I know.
fun.
Regardless of what fishing you're doing with it, it's astounding like how negative an attitude people have, and then especially like
No,
the
he should
lengths
do.
that they're taking.
No, what
it
he
to.
should do. Just like my post I posted yesterday.
What?
Just get big baits. If you don't have forward facing sonar, just go grab some 9-inch glides.
Call him up.
Let's call him up.
Oh my
Boom.
god, dude! Some of the fish he was calling up the other day. And we went out Saturday for like 3 hours, and it's quite impressive.
Name drop. They're calling him out.
Nah, I'm not gonna do it. I'll talk to Andrew about it later. It's sad, you know. It's something as stupid as that. It's like, whatever. Okay. Anyway, one last thing on ICAST, and we'll get into the real meat and potatoes of what tonight's all about. I had a blast. I got to do almost this much of being able to walk around for myself, maybe that much of it. And really, the only time I had where I wasn't actually working, I went and got to see quite a few friends and talk to other people that I just kind of know around. It's like I talked to Robbie at On the Water Bass, their magazine. He swung by to say hi, and it actually worked out well because I put him in touch with the guys at Scotty Manufacturing because they're looking for more kind of like reach in the Northeast. So I think that is going to work for them. So that worked out pretty well. I went and saw my buddy Joe LaBarbera over at BKK Hooks.
Oh, he was there?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was nice to catch up with him because I really haven't had a chance to talk to him much for a while, and even less of a chance to see him. Literally, the last 2 times I saw him was at ICAST this year and last year. But I got to catch up with him for a little bit. I went and saw Christian at Douglas Rods, and I got to see all their new rods. Anthony, I love you either, man.
We better keep in touch. Just shoot me messages once in a while and make me laugh.
Did you see any crazy new baits?
No, I didn't have
You
any
didn't
of the
see
time.
anything?
So I told you almost everybody I went to see, except for I went over and said hi to oh my god, I just forgot his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. The guy at FXR, one of the guys that like kind of really runs the program. So I just stopped by to say hi, and I get to see all the new colors they're releasing for their shirts, and they look so good
For who?
for FXR. Like
no
all these
shit.
sun shirts,
Yeah.
all the new colors they're releasing.
The pineapples?
Didn't see any pineapples,
Damn it.
but I did see palm trees.
Ooh.
I like palm trees.
So it's good. They got you covered.
Pineapples mean swingers.
No, only if they're upside down.
Yeah, I know. I'll stand on my hands.
Is there anybody else I missed? No, that was it. Like, that's really all I had time for. Other than that, I was there for work, and we released a new product. Anybody that saw on my social media called the Seeker, and it has absolutely no application whatsoever to bass fishing. It is purely like a trout fishing kind of setup because it's meant for downriggers. So anything that you would want to fish for with downriggers, the Seeker product is for you. But it's pretty cool. It's a probe that provides depth, speed, and temp with an extremely high level of accuracy very quickly. So often it's repeating back that data back up to the boat from the depth of the cannonball on your downrigger. So up to 300,
cool.
328
Yeah, that's
feet
pretty
or
sweet.
100 meters, which is pretty dope. So anyway, that was it. We were there for Scotty. I mean, we developed it, but Scotty was there, and it went off awesome. I think it garnered more attention than any of us really hoped for, and we had pretty high expectations. So for all of us to come back and be like, "Holy damn, that was phenomenal!"
Is ICAST mostly, because obviously we've never been there.
Uh-huh.
We're not in the
Right.
industry. Like, is it mostly bass fishing? Like, would you expect that to have a really crazy amount of interest at a bass fishing
I feel it's just
convention,
like
or is it not bass fishing?
No, there's
I know they
there's
have
like
other stuff,
all
but is
water
it like
sport
90% bass
industry.
fishing?
Type of deal.
It
right?
is. It's like it's primarily bass fishing, but it's like really just freshwater. There's
Huh.
very little to do with saltwater there. There's some, but not really.
Well,
Like,
they have
this
the
is-
boat show, so
Right, that's the thing.
Miami
Saltwater
one.
has Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, the Miami International Boat Show. You got IBEX down in Tampa. Like, there's no shortage of giant saltwater shows.
I'm
but-
totally going to one of those.
Oh, you need to go to the Miami show. It'll
Okay.
knock your socks off. It's so cool.
I'll wear sandals.
There you go. Place is massive. You're gonna go there, and the expo center alone is ginormous. And then you realize that they have 3 other marinas that they rent out for the event just to keep boats at.
I'll just drive my boat down.
It's ridiculous.
That's the best comment that anyone's ever made so far. Whoa!
Looks like the count.
Hi, Christine. I haven't heard from you in a while.
Two
Hope
bats.
you're doing well.
Fuck you.
Oh, backing up a little bit. Didn't the BFL get one with a 5 for 10 proving forward-facing sonar isn't some sort of fishing voodoo? Oh, there's been plenty of opportunities for people to prove that
Forward-facing sonar
is-
actually kind of sucks because you see how many fish you don't catch.
Yeah.
And
And
I feel like every time I've used it on your boat, it's like, this makes me mad.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's literally it. You will catch 1 out of every 30 fish that you see.
That's why we swapped. I get the front of the boat now. He gets the back.
I think
And he
that-
catches all
I
the
get so
fish.
mad
That-
during the thing.
That more than anything, I feel like is what makes me not want it. I don't have interest in getting it. One, because I don't fish tournaments and I don't feel like I need it. But also, I feel like it will just make me mad. Like it'll stress me out when I'm on the boat that I'm like, why aren't they like? I don't know, like that.
Well, there's just as for an example, this one time we were out
How many
at
times?
just
One
one
time.
Just one time.
One time.
Tell the story. I'm getting a fan of us. This is
There was this one time we went out and I was just using it to scan to find the fish. And I noticed that when I had it pointed at them while I was using a jerkbait to try and catch them, they wouldn't bite it.
Like you
But-
think they could feel it?
I don't know. No idea. I have no idea. But
if
then
you
when I
aimed it a different
scanned
way,
at
they
him,
would bite it?
saw them, and then moved it 180 degrees or just away from them, and I bomb out towards them, I would catch them. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was
I
like
mean, I
if they
do-
could feel it, they could hear it. It's something in the water that's messing them up.
I am like a believer. Like if I'm in really shallow water, I'll turn off my graphs because
Yeah.
I am a
lot of
believer
people
that
do
like
that.
the pinging does
A lot of people
like, make them.
shut off their 1, 2, 3 units at the
Yeah.
console. They'll just shut them off so they don't have the extra pinging from the transducers in the back.
Andrew just proved that forward-facing sonar actually makes it worse. So
I tell you, there's been plenty of times where I've really questioned myself. So the
I question you
handful-
most days too.
That's true. The handful
What?
of times I've gone out fishing alone without anybody, just straight up alone, since I've had forward-facing sonar, 90% of those trips, I've been able to go out and just be like, okay, they're gonna be here, 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 and I pull up, and using it exactly as I intended to since like before I even bought it. This is what I want to do. Nope, nothing here. Go to the next spot. Nothing here. Third spot. Oh, cool. They're here. Okay, and I just fish my way through it. And then out of that other 10% of the time, I've gone like half of whatever my trip was going to be with nothing to show for it. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm just going to cruise around with the troll motor on like 5 and scan. And then I'd see them and I'd be like, oh, okay. And I'd usually have a jig in my hand or a Texas rig and fire it at them, drop shot 2. And I could see that I put it right on their head. And I caught it. I was like, huh. Maybe it's just one of those days where if you're not dropping on the nose, they're not biting. And then like the next 4 or 5 fish confirms that. I'm like, okay, I guess it's gonna be a scoping day. But it's like out of what 15 trips since I got forward facing sonar almost 2 years ago now, 12 of them I've been able to just go fish. The other 3 I had to use scope to make as accurate a cast as possible with those fish to make something happen. That was only after hours of failing to make anything else work. So there's that. And then just gentle reminder, Andrew and I cracked up 20 pounds a day, 2 days in a row, 2 different ponds with 0 electronics, taking 3rd place last year. So
Yeah,
there's that.
literally 0. Well, we had one unit up
We had a
front
map.
that had down imaging.
We didn't even have a map. We had down.
No, we didn't have any map. We just went off of memory of where we
right.
fished
No
multiple years
waypoints.
before.
No map, just 2D sonar. I think we had water temperature, and that was it. We didn't even have functioning live wells. That was great.
We should have had a hydro wave.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sharon swears by it.
Yeah, I've heard plenty of things. Oh, Dave, hey, buddy. I didn't see you jump in there.
I used to have a hydro wave.
Did you?
Danny, do you use a true arrow or do you have a different mount?
only thing I
I
ever
have
noticed was
the
bait.
cornfield crappie mount, and I use that.
Oh, yeah.
Like I would notice that it would make like bait fish come closer to the boat, but never anything that
which would cause
It never like
the bass to come closer.
sometimes, but it never like turned a day around.
They're
for
like
me.
looking past the school. They're like, wait a minute,
What's this?
son of a bitch.
God, you have to pry my cheater box from my cold dead hands. Game changer and fine structure and deep veggies. Makes limited time in the water so much more productive and fun. I will say for finding offshore structure, I still prefer my 360 to forward facing.
Oh, dude, 360.
The two of them
is-
combined are great, but
Yep.
360, you see, it's not just like, okay, I see pretty sure veggies and some rocks and stuff, and then a wall of veggies. I see the entire ring of veggies and that one hard patch bald spot in the middle of it. That's what I like 360 for. And you can't always see that. I mean, if it's down deep enough and you can really, get your forward facing sonar over the top of it, you can pick that up. But nothing like 360 can.
Do you have perspective on yours?
I don't have a mount to switch to it. So I've literally never used perspective. I've only used forward. I need to get that Dominator mount.
You can't do perspective with yours?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Positive. I got the 0 degree mount. It's one setting.
Oh, because you're on the. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
You're
I
on
gotta
the-
get that new one. I'll get there. Okay.
All right, what are we talking about?
We're talking about deep water, summer smallmouth, largemouth, everything. No, I didn't mean to say it like that. Deep water, summer fishing.
That was weird.
That's what it was. So,
Deep
throw it
grass,
deep.
grass jigs. Do it.
Deep
Go.
grass jig.
I've
Catch
talked a lot.
fish. Bye.
What is you start? You,
Me?
What is your favorite thing to do when this time of the year? Right, we've had nothing but ridiculous heat and humidity. The water anywhere you go is like 83 degrees surface water temp, and everything is just like, okay, F off, we're going out deep. Unless there's some instances where they're like up on the bank under like really thick lily pads, but otherwise, the vast majority of the fish are pushed offshore. What's your favorite thing to do? Largemouth and smallmouth. Give them both.
My favorite thing to do is deep cranking, but when they won't do that, which they wouldn't, I went out last Wednesday and I did that for about 3 hours and I got one bite and no fish. And then I went and changed to a drop shot. And then in the next, I only stayed out for about 5 hours. So in the next like 2 hours, I caught 18. So I would have to say, reliability wise, probably drop shot with a very long leader. And
How long is long?
I would say I start at about 2 feet. Sometimes I'll go to 3 feet, something like that. It depends on
That was always the rule, though. The hotter water, the longer the leader.
yeah, colder water, shorter leader, hotter water, longer leader. It depends on the bait. Like I feel like perch sometimes are like right on the bottom, but I feel like perch are usually like from 6 inches to like 5 feet off the bottom.
Yeah, they stack
I'll
almost
just-
like crappie, like kind of
Yeah.
like Christmas trees. Like
Yeah.
it's just tall,
right.
but not very broad schools of bait fish.
Yeah, but I also am one of those people that I use a very, even if I'm fishing like 40 feet of water, I'll use like a 3/16 sometimes, or sometimes a quarter drop shot weight, and I am basically just flipping a drop shot and I am letting it sink down through there. I would say probably 95% of the fish that I catch when I'm drop shotting they bite it on the initial fall, or it gets to the bottom and I hop it like 2 or 3 times. And if I don't have a fish, I reel it back in. In the summer, I
Heard that about you.
literally never. Oh yeah. In the summer, I never drag a drop shot. I'll do that in the winter, in the fall, but in the summer, I never ever drag it. I flip it, I hop it 2 or 3 times, and I reel it back and do it again.
Are you shopping?
I'm not quite yet. I'm just setting it up, and I'm actually kind of
That
upset
is
because
cheap.
That is cheap, yeah.
yeah, but that's per bait for a
Oh,
360.
that's not that cheap.
No, dude, this
that's
guy
not
used to be stupid cheap.
So I can get you. I forget the name of the
that's
company, but Brian.
Brian, you're here.
He's
Brian,
got, he's got some
I
guys.
just
that,
get them on Amazon.
text me. I need tungsten drop
cheap.
shot
They're
pinch
cheap.
weights.
They're cheap on Amazon.
are they?
Yeah.
Well, Brian's got some dude that he gets them off, and they're super cheap.
So, Mike, that's what you just answered. Like 2 to 3 feet on his tag for his drop shot, which is something I don't do enough of. I will back up and decrease the weight of my drop shot, and I've been fishing a lot more quarter ounce lately, whereas usually I was always 3/8 ounce. And if I went down like 40 plus feet, I went to a half ounce.
That is crazy.
I know, but I changed, and now I'm fishing like primarily a quarter ounce, and I'm comfortable with that.
Anthony.
But we went up to where we went square.
Yes.
We went to the pond, and
Well, that was dumb.
almost all the fish I caught one on a drop shot.
It's
All
gonna,
mine were on a hair
it's gonna be
jig.
40 people there now.
That's fine. Good luck getting in.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
That's like-
seriously. Jesus.
Damn. Anthony, I can't pin that. You know it's a good one when I can't pin it. Oh, but sorry. Jesus Christ, Anthony. Drop shot was your go-to.
Drop shot is not my favorite thing to fish, but it is the thing that I most consistently catch them deep on. It always works.
Yeah.
It always, like, there's never a day where I don't catch a fish on a drop shot.
What is your favorite drop shot bait that you're willing to share that's not the fuzzy dice?
You're gonna have to look it up. But so last year I started using the X Zone. It's whatever the X Zone drop shot bait is.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't remember the name of it.
It's not
Slammer?
the...
Is it Swam? No, it's
No, I think
No,
it's
the
Slammer.
Slammer?
Slammer.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, the Slammer.
Yeah,
The Swammer is their swim bait one.
Yep.
yeah, that's it.
Those are good.
And it
It's like past and pretense at the same time. Swammer.
that's fair.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Then finish this thought, then
but-
tell the cookie joke.
But the colors that they have on that are so good for perch and bluegill and things like that. Like I literally had a day last year that I went out and could only get bit on that bait. I rotated through like 15 different drop shot baits, and that bait was the one. And after that, I bought like 100 packs of them, and now I literally have a box of just those in my boat. And I like that's besides the dice, that's like my number one thing that I go to.
And I guarantee it was more the color than it was the action of the bait.
Yeah, I don't think the action is anything special. I think that the colors, when you're fishing summer, the water is usually relatively clear unless there's like an algae bloom.
Yeah.
And the places where I'm fishing, the fish are deep because the water is clear, and they're usually very specifically on perch. And sometimes if you're on Winnie or something, it's like smelt. But 99% of the places I go, it's perch. And if you don't look exactly like a perch, then you'll still catch some. Like you're not going to not get anything, but it's not going to be the same. You know, once you get that color, like the fish tell you, like, oh, this is it. Like they're getting it way down in their throat, and you're getting bit consistently. Like it's like a light switch when you have the right color.
Yeah, and it's funny because Andrew jokingly and good-naturedly gives me shit about all the yellow perch pattern and everything I have. But specific to all my soft plastics, especially we were talking about finesse stuff, I love Beast Coast. Almost everything they do with their yellow perch pattern is about as good as it gets. But he's a New England guy. He's from Connecticut. He understands what like a nice yellow perch looks like up here, and his colors reflect that. But that's not what a yellow perch is in every case. Mm-hmm. I can tell you one specific lake in the Lakes region of New Hampshire. The yellow perch up there have like this like traffic cone orange belly.
I know what you're
And it's-
talking about.
Oh yeah,
And they
it's
only get
vibrant.
about this big. And there's billions of them.
Yeah, but it's vibrant. So you gotta have something that's got like a nuclear orange belly, or it's just you're not matching the hatch very well. And there's other places like especially down we went down to the Cape. They're like the yellow on them is so dominant.
Yeah.
And it's not, and there's almost no orange on them whatsoever. It's like a really like vivid white strip on their belly, and then just yellow with really, broad black stripes on them. But like that, I have so many different yellow perch patterns because of all those different
we know.
nuances from spot to spot.
We know.
But color's everything. We've been saying that. Christ, I've been saying that since before the stream started. If I have 500 videos on the channel, I bet you 400 of them mention how color is everything.
Yeah, I agree. Clear water.
Yeah, I just don't throw perch.
Except
And I think I do okay without it.
He does. The only time, and he's not kidding, by the way, he will not throw yellow perch because I almost always throw it until I get to a point where I'm like near 10 or fish or more than he has, and then he turns around and he's like, "All right, give me that thing." there is a threshold that is acceptable of the other person getting ahead of the other before it's like, "Okay, give me."
Come on. Hand it over.
Hey, shush, puppers. Close the door till he's done. Okay, so drop shot was your go-to for the just works everywhere.
Yep.
Second to that was I forget, but you also said deep cranking, or is it just deep cranking and drop shot?
Just deep crank.
Okay, my bad. Just I didn't want to assume. I didn't remember.
I do really, really, really like the East Coast football, the open water sniper.
Yes, Alec.
It's I don't start. I know you start with that, but I go to drop shot before that, and then basically once I've caught a sufficient amount on drop shot, then I'll say like, all right, I'll try to go for a larger size bite, and then I'll switch to a jig.
You try gopher?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try gopher. I'll toss a gopher.
What does Andrew throw instead of a yellow perch? 12-inch glide, stupid
White perch.
question.
I might throw that this weekend. In a
Yeah.
specific spot.
Well, if we get up to Champlain,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, we're probably going up to Champlain.
If not, if we go to the other place, I still won't be mad.
Yeah, keep
Because
going either
that
way.
12-inch glide will probably work.
So,
What other place?
where we were on, or I was
Shut
on
up.
Friday.
Oh,
Scott's here. Scott,
You're sweating.
I can promise you. Obviously, Andrew knew about it because he fished there before I did. And Dennis already fished there like a couple dozen times. So we're all in the know. Scott was out there again. I forget what he said, today or yesterday. And he cracked him again.
Same thing. Okay.
No, different. Yeah, well, same, but different.
Same, but different.
What's that movie?
So Smallies?
What's that movie? What's that line from? The one with Seth Rogen.
that's every movie.
The Interview.
Oh yeah, when they blew up King
Yeah, but
King fucking
When they first
whatever.
land, and he's
I don't remember that movie.
he's like giving a speech on the runway. He's like, "We're the same, but different.
I was inebriated.
Same, but different." Anyway, such a stupidly good movie. See, Kyle knows. Hate us because of anus.
Anus? 12-inch glide is crazy.
Anyway.
It's not that bad.
It's really not.
It's big, but it's not that bad.
It's pretty big.
12 and a half would be bigger.
Alec,
That's true.
If we go to,
Mathematically.
if we go to Champlain, we're not going to Thai. I can tell you, I'm going to the northern end, and I am specifically going looking for different largemouth spots. We got plenty of smallmouth spots to back up to if the largemouth don't pan out the way I hope to. And I'm really, really hoping, fingers crossed, that the grass mats are up.
I'll just text Brian.
Which at this point they should be. We're pretty close to it.
I'll text Brian.
Okay.
LaBelle.
Oh yeah. Just asking, are the mats up?
Hey,
That's all you can ask.
hey, where do I go to throw glides on this place?
I can either go Saturday or Sunday. I know there's a giant tournament Saturday, so I don't really care about that because there's so much water up there anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
My only concern is, of all the spots I've identified for like, I want to go look at these for largemouth, I would say half of them look just too damn obvious that I'm sure that
There'll be somebody
there's
there.
gonna, yeah,
be
I
10
guarantee
boats on
I've
it.
looked at it and it's so damn obvious and so remote to anything else that it probably is a good spot and it's probably a community hole. And I'm gonna go out there and be like, oh yeah, well, there's 5 foot boats here. I don't even need to stop. Turn around, go. Yeah, Jody, we were talking about that. I was off a little bit. Took 25 pounds on 5 to win at Thai on Saturday.
LaBelle will definitely tell you all this.
No, I don't want the best
I'm
spot.
friends with him, so
Just want to know if the grass
maybe
mats
give
are up
me
up north.
one just to go play with some glide baits. That's it. I don't.
No.
fish tournaments.
No, I'm literally looking at my bag of all my 2-ounce tungsten weights from Beast Coast.
I want to go.
And I just wanna go punch mats.
I do too. I want to do that again.
I want to go up and explore a little bit, but I really just want to go punch grass mats.
That was so. We'll do it like we did last year. We'll fish till like 11, and then we'll go punch mats for the rest of the day.
Okay, so ideally we should probably go Saturday so we can sleep in on Sunday. Because
Yes.
the last time we did this, we were on the water at 6:30.
It was like
we
a-
were leaving the ramp
It
at
was
6:30.
like a 15-hour day.
Yeah, we didn't get back to the ramp until 7:30 at night.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude,
and then
it
you
was
drove 3.5 hours home?
It was
Yes.
amazing.
So it was closer to 20 hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, for real.
No, it was more than that.
It was close. We left my house at what time did we leave? We left here at 3 in the morning, and we got back at like almost 11 o'clock at night.
Oh my god.
So 20 hours.
20-hour day.
And then you went to work the next day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Hey man, I wasn't joking on my post when I said I got back from ICAST. I got to my house at 1 a.m. Friday. I slept for maybe 45 minutes. I got up, showered and everything, quick breakfast, grabbed the monster, got on the road. I was up in Maine, about a 2.5 hour drive. I was up and fishing by 6:45 a.m. I got to the ramp by 6:30. I got there right on time when I said I would. And it was amazing. I felt like a champ that whole drive home, dude. I was so jacked up.
You're a crazy person.
Now, different
grass.
story when I got home and I sat down though.
So that kind of throws a wrench in our plans.
Well,
Champlain.
Grass
Grass
was on
stunk.
Champlain rose 18 to 24 inches.
I forgot about that. Yeah, but what about the grass mats? Like the floating mats?
That's-
That's what I'm curious about. I'm also curious how long it'll stay up that high.
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway,
Probably a couple weeks.
so he said drop shot, deep cranking. What's yours?
I love
Grass jig, jigging
now
grass.
jigging grass. I love throwing either the Vanquish, the Beast Coast Vanquish, or the Beast Coast Little Magnum in deep grass. Like, deep. Like,
How deep? What's your range?
my range?
Yep.
If there's grass in 50 feet, I'm throwing at it. But it's usually around the 20 to 25, maybe 30 if you're 35 if you're lucky. But that probably, it's usually like 15 to 25 is where you're going to find that deep grass.
That's like substantial grass.
Substantial grass, like 12 feet tall, 12, 15 feet tall. They love that stuff. They
Are you
use it-
getting bit when it's sitting on the bottom, or are you getting bit when you're ripping it up above the top of the grass?
I don't usually rip it. I usually work it through the middle of the grass column, and then I let it fall down. So I'll bring it up like a couple feet, and I'll shimmy it, and then I'll let it fall down. And then I'll bring it up a few feet, let it shimmy it, and then let
So
it
you're
fall
literally
back
getting
down.
bit while it's buried in the grass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what we were doing when we went Saturday, where we got a couple of bites, where you caught your 5 pound smallie that you're not sure is actually 5 pounds anymore.
Yeah.
And all that offshore pond cabbage, it's like 8 to 10 feet in most of that. It pitched in the middle, let it hit the bottom, lift it up, and it kind of hangs and it's like down the branches as it goes. You lift it back up and do it again. And sometimes they hit it when it's like it'll hit one of those leaves and hang there and they'll smoke it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can feel it. You lift it 4 feet and it barely gets down a foot and you feel poof.
It's cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because I know a lot of guys like Mike Zampeasy. He was saying how much he loves like a ½ ounce and 3/4 ounce jig, especially the 3/4 ounce Little Magnum from Beast Coast since that came out. He's like, no, dude, I want to punch down through that. And well, yeah, that absolutely works and it's great. I like going the other avenue on that, and I like going to 3/8 because I want it to kind of hit and drape down. Like I said, like it hits every single leaf
Kind of
on
falls
the way
down,
down.
the
tumbles
grass
down, yeah.
instead of using the ½ to 3/4 where it's just going to punch down through.
Right. So if you get a fish that isn't quite close enough, it can still see it, but can't get to it in the blink of an eye.
You got to think
Then-
like mooring balls. They're not always at the bottom.
What?
Like on mooring balls,
By the way, fish are positioned on the rope on mooring balls.
Oh,
they're not always at the bottom.
I thought you were
You
talking
just-
about the
it's
ball
just-
itself. I was like, yeah, it's floating on the top. What are you talking about?
You're just gonna talk to him a lot more often. You
What?
know where his train of thought is.
My train of thought is like Ohio.
You gotta think like mooring balls. What? You
gotta think like the moon landing.
What are you retarded?
No, like where the
both think
fish
each other
are
retarded.
like mooring ball and rope. They're not always down here. They
Yeah.
could be up here. They
Yeah.
could be up here. They could be down here.
Yeah.
You got to work the whole column.
So you're doing that. I know you do it for largemouth, but you're gonna say, God damn it now. What about smallmouth?
I don't know, man.
Deep water smallies?
Deep water smallies, I'm probably gonna throw. So my newfound love as of last year,
Here it is.
hair jigs. Love them. Absolutely love them. And then Dennis, the good friend he is, gave me a BFS setup running 5 pound line for my 1/16 ounce hair jigs that I can legitimately cast probably close to 100 feet. And that is the funnest bite. If you haven't used a BFS setup, just go buy one. You're not going to be upset about it.
It's the best.
You're going to absolutely love it.
It's life changing.
You catch a 2 pound fish and it takes you like 2 minutes,
It's
3 minutes to
life-changing.
bring it in.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I told you.
Yeah, I love it.
I told you.
I've been told my hook sets are untrustworthy. I'm not allowed to use it.
Yeah, I wouldn't use it if I were you. You just
Jeremiah
lean
wants to know
into
what
it.
kind of grass. Jeremiah wants to know what kind of grass.
All of
that
it.
you're talking about. How deep? Deeper.
Deeper? Whatever the tallest grass you can find is out deep. The biggest, thickest, heaviest grass out deep that you can find.
I don't
Concur.
like this, like, when there's like slime. I don't go into that.
Yeah, no. If you get into that
It
rock
needs-
snot,
yeah,
which
that-
can
yeah,
get on the
It
veggies
needs
too,
to
get
be
away.
like
It needs to be
hardy,
clean
like hardy,
grass.
hardy cleaner.
I mean, not always. It doesn't always have to be clean grass.
Yeah, it doesn't
There's
need to be
still
that
gonna be
green,
down in it.
vibrant grass. It can be kind of brown and look like it's half dead,
I'm
but
saying
it's
like
still holding them.
the green mush muck that comes up with it.
I don't like that.
I just stay away. I know the fish are in it, but I just
I
stay
don't-
away
yeah, I
because
don't
it's a
even
pain in
try.
the ass.
Jody, I agree. Taking 3 minutes land a 2-pounder seems life changing in a bad direction.
Well, if you're
gotta
there
try
for
it.
the sport, it's great, Jody. Okay.
You gotta try it.
I'm not trying to win freaking Bassmaster Elites. I'm just trying to make myself feel better about myself.
It's so fun though.
It is. It's so much fun.
I will specifically add to this for you, Jeremiah. So pond cabbage is a big one that I look for out deeper. And like if you go on Winnipesaukee, dude, that stuff grows deep. Like real deep. You go down to Paugus Bay and that stuff is deep out there. You know what? I actually really want to go back there. Yeah, it just sounds fun, doesn't it?
It kind of does.
It really does, doesn't it?
It does.
Given the fact that when was the last time we fished there? 2 years ago? Yeah.
3?
I think we fished it 3 times in the last 6 years.
I don't really ever fish Paugus.
I don't really ever fish
That's almost
Winnie.
all I ever fish when I go for largemouth. I don't know anywhere
I
else.
don't know. You know, okay.
No, but the smallmouth down there, phenomenal. And those I've got on lockdown. Like I can go to Paugus and catch smallmouth every time I go. There's something about that area that I just understand.
Well, you were bound to get it eventually.
Yeah, seriously. Jody has a question about BFS setups. What did you give me? You gave me the
It's a Dobbins.
Dobbins
7.4.
Sierra Series 740.
Yeah, something
I
like
believe
that.
it's
Yeah.
740.
Yeah.
It's a light, moderate.
I have to read it like this.
Light, moderate,
is just
something
a
or other.
pompous ultralight gear.
It's so nice. I'm gonna put my nose up and then BFS. I love it, dude. It's like the funnest thing you can do with your pants on.
Everybody that I've ever talked to that's like, like that doesn't sound fun, and then like they try it and they're like, oh my god.
I was so nervous about you trying it, and then because I was like such light line bait caster. What do I do to set the hook? And it's like the same thing as a spinning setup, but you have a bait caster, and it's so
fun.
delicate.
Watching him fish, it's kind of like the way you would see somebody fish a spy bait on traditional cast or spinning setup. You know, especially guys that throw a 6-pound where you just kind of like really like ease into it. I've never seen either one of you jack them up on that thing.
There's no reason to.
No,
It's
you
a
don't
tiny
have to.
little hook.
Yeah, you
It's
just kind of
gonna
like, yeah.
it's gonna poke them, and they're gonna stick.
I was telling him like that. I caught that 15-pound drum at Champlain on 5-pound line. It spooled me 3 times when I was fighting it like that. Like it's so fun.
Oh God. Well, there you go. Did you both sufficiently answer? Jody, did they both sufficiently answer your question? That's what I want to know. It's not for them to decide. That's for you to decide, sir. Okay.
And
but,
what reel was that? It was SLX.
It's it's an SLX BFS, Shimano SLX BFS. Like Shimano for different models of their reels, they'll do like standard, and then they'll do a BFS version. So there's a BFS SLX, there's a BFS Corrado.
Is there a DC?
I don't know that. I don't know that they
That
would do
would
that
probably
because
be
it has to be so lightweight.
Yeah.
So I
guess
don't know
you're
if they
right.
would put that in there.
Yeah, true.
Oh, they're satisfied.
Good.
I'm satisfied. I am satisfied with my care. I, on the topic of new stuff, bought some stuff earlier today.
Oh yeah?
I did.
What'd you buy?
I got 2 of the new ERA rods coming from
Oh,
Douglas.
you did.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Well, they're 610 spinning rod and a 7.4 casting rod. Just
Okay.
No, not the 610. Maybe it was 610. No. 7-foot spinning rod, rated 1/3 to 3/4. And I'm excited about that because I think it's gonna be a killer open water sniper rod.
Yeah.
And then a 7.4, essentially medium heavy fast rod, like another jig rod. But when I
Well,
checked
you
it out
don't
at
have enough,
ICAST,
so.
well, I did just break one, but that one's getting replaced, so that's good.
Look, there are
Yes, it can be a jig rod, but there's a potential it could be a good frog rod too. You shush. Don't judge me just because I'm really good with the jig. It's funny, I was thinking about the BFLs and I'm like, I'm just gonna tie up 5 jig rods. 5 jig rods on casting, and then I can do 3 spinning rods on jigs too. But and then I ended up ordering another one of the 763 XFs from the X Matrix. So I've got, because I really want to throw more 5/8s, and he's getting me really jacked up for the hair jigs, especially with Beast Coast coming out with theirs. So
Yeah,
I saw your
that looks
comment there,
awesome.
Alex. So
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it. And I just
tie my own.
I don't have another ultralight rod like that. Even if I want to do like more strolling, like I just wanted another rod for when I specifically go targeting smallmouth. I only had 4 setups, and now I'll have 6, and that makes me feel a lot more comfortable. And I just like, especially deep water, I like going with spinning rods. just so I can go braid to leader. I'm just much more comfortable with it, and I can make it work for me. I don't break off nearly as much. I'm not missing bites because I'm going straight fluoro, but I hate going braid to fluoro on my casting. So
I hate going braid to fluoro on casting too. I hate it.
I do too, but I do that on my big baits.
Do you?
on the
On
big baits, it's
one
fine.
rod.
It's a different story.
Only one rod,
Yeah.
100 pound to 40 pound.
Oh my God, Andrew.
I won't lose them.
Yep. And then
Don't be a bitch.
I bought 3 reels too. I got a new BB1 speed spool from Loose
Yes.
to replace that really, like, one of the ones I had for 5 years.
Oh, the one I was using the other day.
Yeah,
I
that's-
felt like it should be in the trash.
Yeah, it
Filled
either
with
needs a
sand.
desperate tune-up, or it just needs to be replaced. So I
It needs to
decided
be
to replace
dumped
it.
in a freaking. It needs to be dumped in a tub of freaking Astroglide.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And then I got 2 more of those custom light 3000 series spinning reels because I got 2 more new rods coming. so.
Okay.
I really like those. I actually like it better than the Hyperbag, and it's $30 cheaper.
I placed a Defiant order.
Ooh, what'd you get?
I got the bird.
Okay, night mission
Nice.
very soon.
Now we all three of them have us.
We have to
Now
go
all
out
3 of them have.
That was a good try, Andrew.
He's almost there. Give him a second.
All 3 of us have one.
Thank you.
All 3 have him, 3 us.
It was just mashed potatoes.
So now we need to go for a night mission soon, and all 3 of us throw the bird until one of us lands a fish.
Okay.
I
down.
ordered it in black, but the one that I got was in white. But that's okay.
Interesting. I think.
I
Did
got
I get the white?
You have the white. I got the brown.
The brown.
I wanted the
Look
black.
at the black and purple. DJ had to have been. Literally
Maybe.
matches his boat.
Probably.
It's a bird.
I might just like spray paint it black.
Can't hurt.
We'll see.
You can just leave it white too.
Maybe we'll see.
I can tell you that I know a few guys that some, like, just diehard swim bait guys, and their biggest fish would be coming on pure white baits at night.
Really?
Yep.
I would not guess that.
Yep.
All right,
Leave it
I'll
alone.
keep
Don't touch it.
Keep it white.
Okay. Anyway, okay. So you said drop shot and deep cranking. You said Beast Coast Vanquish jig, down in deep grass for largies, and then backed
Hair
up by hair jig for smallmouth.
Hair jig for largies and smallies. It don't matter. I crushed them this past weekend, or one of the weekends that already happened. I crushed them on it. It was such previously.
Preview me.
It was fun.
Previality weekend.
Yes. Okay, for me, Carolina rig, or just straight Texas rig.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Carolina rig is
like
so much
strictly
fun.
for largemouth. I'm going out deep in the
Really?
middle of summer. Carolina rig has been my jam for a very long time.
Carolina
Old
rig's
school.
so much fun.
Yeah, and it's even great for smallmouth. Like the first few times I got to fish at Winnipesaukee, first time had no idea what I was doing. I was like, okay, need to learn. So cranking and Carolina rigs were the first 2 things I picked up. And I fished the ever living hell out of a Carolina rig all over that lake for where I could get around in my dad's tracker, the first boat we had. I caught so many fish on that. And to this day, I still catch a lot of fish on a Carolina rig. More often than not, I like dragging a 10-inch ribbon tail worm.
Haven't
Like, that's
done
my
it in a
favorite
while, but
How
it
big
just
of a
works.
weight? 3/4?
Half ounce to 3/4. It depends. So like when we go up on Champlain and we're fishing that really thick, either pond cabbage or milfoil, I'll go 3/4 ounce and I'll tie on a 2-foot leader from swivel to bait. And on that, what I found I really like is going with a moderate gauged 3/0 flipping hook with a craw trailer. Because if I try to use any other hook, the bait's one fish and it's done. Other than that,
So when you're targeting smallmouth specifically, you're not using a worm. You're using a raw.
no, dude, even the smallmouth will eat the worm.
Huh.
Or you really want to go old school? 5-inch zoom lizard.
Oh, lizard. Whenever I've done it, I've used a fluke on it.
So I've never done that, but I really want to. And
What?
I have another
Fluke on a Carolina
idea.
rig.
I want to do a square bill.
And I was looking to see if they're up there. I know I've got a pack up there, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to tell anybody about it. So one of the things that you kind of have to worry about when you're fishing Carolina rig is some baits work great and others don't, because some of the baits that you'd think would work well, you lose all the action on without having a weight on it, whether it's a belly weight or, you know, it's a ball head jig, like whatever, right? You have to have some sort of weight on it to make that bait work. And there's quite a few baits that is an issue. And I was talking about this with TJ, Smallmouth Freaks, probably like 3 or 4 years ago. No, like 2 or 3 years ago, sorry. And we were talking about Carolina rigs. I was like, I want to do this. I'm not going to say a word because I know how I'm going to rig this up and I'm going to try it at the BFLs. And I'm confident it's going to work. And he was like, this is the problem. If you do that bait without any weight on the hook, it's just going to blow out. It doesn't do anything. I was like, what if I did this? And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. And he was like, holy shit, never thought about that. Because at that point, it won't matter because I'm throwing it behind a 1 ounce friggin' weight. And I'm literally trying to power fish it through some of the thickest vegetation I can find where we have already had a lot of success getting them in there. So I'm confident I can do something that probably nobody else has thought about. And if they have, it's only a handful of people. And I am mucho excited.
I have an idea.
Carolina rig, though. Like, 100%.
I have a really
large
good
enough, doesn't
idea.
matter. What?
Oh yeah.
I will tell you guys after.
Oh.
Don't forget it. You're going to forget it.
I'm
He
gonna
does not
forget
control
it.
to remember, ladies and gentlemen.
He's making a note.
Text it to me right now. And then I'll remember. Because if you don't text it to me, you're going to put it somewhere in your phone. You're going to forget where that is.
I love that that's pinned.
Oh, yeah. No. I had to leave that there. Hang on. Favorite Carolina rig baits. So I already talked about it a little bit. Anywhere from a 6-inch to a 12-inch ribbon-tail worm is great. I mean, you want to go old school and throw the Zoom lizards, 4, 5, 6-inch, 8-inch.
You feel me?
All those still work really, really well. I really like throwing any sort of craw bait. Striking range craw is great. I haven't tried the Beast Coast Flippin' Delight, but I'm confident that will work as well.
On what?
Carolina rig.
Oh, dude, that'll work. You kidding me?
It has to. I mean, especially if you're throwing it like through thick veggies and you got it on a flipping hook. I mean, you literally just
It's a
work it.
flipping
You're
bait.
relying on the legs to do the action.
It's a
Get
flipping
an
bait. It's supposed to.
OSP Doe Live shrimp,
Okay.
6-inch. Try that.
Okay.
That's my favorite wobblehead bait,
Oh.
and I bet it would be really good on that.
All right. I'll have to look at that. Who else? The what is it? The Yum Speed Craw? Is that right? I rarely use them. The Yum Christy Craw is also really good. No, Zoom Speed Craw, not Yum. Zoom Speed Craw. There's no shortage of whatever bait you can throw in the back of a Carolina rig, and that's honestly one of my favorite things about it.
A
You're just
lizard.
kind of limited by your imagination. Already said that.
Oh,
4,
wasn't listening,
5,
apparently.
6, 8-inch. I have them all still.
10s and 12s.
I don't have 10-inch.
I want 10-inch worms. I mean lizards.
I got some 10 and 12-inch ribbon tail worms. I was throwing the hell out of it where I was on Sunday. I was throwing a big, giant, old school power bait 10-inch ribbon tail worm.
Did you get any?
Nope. And it pissed me off. I got bumped once. And my buddy Scott, who was in here, was telling me, he was like, this will work. I'm like, awesome. I used to do that all the time. I haven't really done it much this year yet, but you've given me every reason to go out and do that. That was the thing I was most excited for. Deep water jig bite, awesome. 10-inch ribbon tail Texas rig worm, sign me the hell up. Couldn't get him on it.
What are the sea rig baits you should be staying away from? Glide baits, they get stuck on the bottom.
Oh boy, anything that is reliant upon weight to make it work.
I just got a really good.
And that's all I'm going to say, Jody. Shush. What?
Dude, I just got a really good idea.
Okay, well, you think about your idea. All I
No, I
talked
don't
about
have to
is
think
large
about it. I
mouth.
already know I'm doing it.
Beautiful thing about it, again, is you can throw a Carolina rig anywhere for both largemouth and smallmouth out deep. I personally prefer it around vegetation. I would be very, very careful about throwing around any sort of rock. Then you really got to go through carefully how you want to approach that, because you're going to be dragging it. Like if you're just power fishing it over, then it's okay. But typically that's like a vegetation thing, and it works great. I mean, I love it. You can throw it straight open water too. It doesn't have to be vegetation. You know, if you know they're like outside the vegetation, by all means, throw it out there and drag it out there. And I pretty much just drag it. When I was younger, I used to like kind of crack it along. So you'd have your weight and then either a glass or plastic bead and then your swivel. And you can go like, I would even go like 2 tungsten beads behind a brass weight. So like it was loud when they would clack. But then I felt like it was almost too much like doing that. And so I just relied on the benefit of Carolina rig. That heavy weight forward to pull the bait down through it, but the bait could still stay presented kind of up on top of that thing too. And it would take a little bit longer to fall down through. So it's funny you mentioned that. We talked about Carolina rig and crankbait, and we still haven't done it yet.
I've done it with what's the Rapala? Shad Wrap. I've done it with Shad Wraps.
Yeah. Any luck?
Yeah,
I would like to try it, but
it does get stuck a lot.
I mean, the only reason I would think to do it is if I really wanted to crank like deep.
Really deep, yeah.
So I'm throwing like a 1.5 ounce weight in the front of that thing, and I want
A half
to
ounce will
slow
do.
roll a swim bait or a crankbait out and like
Half ounce should do.
yeah, it probably will. But I
Because
want to
it'll
like
stay
slow
up
roll it.
above. It shouldn't. A half ounce would stay somewhat above the bottom, so you're not getting it caught on everything.
Like make sure that you use something that has like ultra high float on the crankbait, so
Yeah.
that as soon as you stop, it goes right up and it isn't just like hanging down there.
Yep.
He fishes poop baits.
I have used a lot of poop baits. I love depth cover scat. It is excellent, and the Yamatanuki is also excellent.
I've tried using that once, and I don't know. I felt weird about it.
It's just a giant Ned.
You use them.
Yeah.
I use them basically in place of like a cross between where you would fish a Senko and where you would flip a jig into those areas that you're talking about of having your bait tumble down weeds.
Yep.
That's where I throw a cover scat or a Yamatanuki, and then it basically does that same thing,
Okay.
but
Wait.
it's weedless.
I only talked about my largemouth. I didn't talk about my smallmouth.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Careful. But hey. All right, really quick. Because one of the things, we didn't do a good job last time we covered a topic like this. We talked about baits, and we didn't talk about like the wheres and the whys, and I want to make sure we leave time for that. So for smallmouth, I'm going to go the same thing as Dennis and say drop shot. And I like it because you don't need any fancy technology for it. As long as you just got traditional sonar, like that was for years one of my favorite things to do, just kind of going around in an area where as soon as you start marking bait fish, like, okay, the smallmouth are not going to be that far behind. You just wait for one to show up. You just drop that drop shot straight down their head. Let it hit the bottom, lift the bait, and wait. And I'd catch a ton of fish doing literally nothing but dead sticking the bait, holding it that 18 inches up off the bottom, just waiting. And you could see them. You'd see the mark. Your bait would come down, the mark would disappear a little bit, and you could see, well, the way I had my stuff set up, I could see my weight and then my bait, and then all of a sudden you see this faint line come up real slow, and then more often than not this time of the year, you'd feel the weight, like, your line leaning against the weight, and then you feel nothing. You wouldn't feel it, like, you wouldn't feel a bite, you would just literally feel nothing, as if your line was gone. That's a fish. And he has plucked your bait, and he is shooting up like a bottle rocket, right for the surface.
Yep.
And you start reeling as fast as you can, and about 10 feet below the boat, all of a sudden you catch up to it, and you see your rod load up, only for that smallmouth to come about 4 feet up in the air and shoot straight back down, right back down to 40 feet. And it's one of the coolest things. I love it when they do that. Where we went last weekend, that one smallmouth I caught.
Oh, yeah, jumped 5 feet out of the
Dude,
water.
biggest smallmouth jump I've ever had in my life.
What lake was it?
That was the where we caught the trout.
Can you put the longitude and latitude in the chat? Received.
Hey, don't mind what happens under the table.
Oh, yeah, Kevin was there.
Yeah,
That's
Kevin
right.
was there, and it was like towards the end of the day, and
Wait, don't you have
drop
to,
shot was killing it.
don't you have to go through like something
Yes.
like an outrageous like to get into the
We had
Yeah.
that much space on either side of the boat.
Well, if,
Literally.
if your boat can do it, my boat can do it. But
Oh,
is there
sure.
depth in there?
Barely. We pulled the troll motor up. Like I
we
kept
pushed
troll
through with
motor.
our hands.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, geez.
I was standing on the nose pulling, and then him and Kevin were standing on the back of the boat on either side to make sure we didn't slap fiberglass on the way through. But it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it sounds nice.
It was great.
Your boat would be fine.
Anyway,
for it.
Yeah.
we were looking for new fish where it was hot, miserably hot. It'd been kind of slow for like the last hour and a half. We're going down this bank, saw a good like little kind of submerged ledge, and all of a sudden I saw one good fish. Put my drop shot out in front of it, and he came, like, I missed him by like maybe 25 feet on distance, and he was up about 20 feet off the bottom, and all of a sudden you could see him just arc all the way down and follow it down. I felt this tiny little bite, and I started reeling on it, and that thing came towards the boat, circled back around, and then last 10 feet came up at a 45 at a full sprint. And it went, would you say 5 feet up, and then 10 to 12 feet that
Yeah.
it covered from end to end from where it like,
was just
started
like
to where it landed?
Was it a big fish?
No, it's only like a 2-pound smallmouth, but it was awesome.
Where'd you
Yeah,
catch
it's
the
pretty-
trout on? Oh, hair jig, right?
No,
No?
drop shot.
Oh. Why are you being so weird about it?
Drop shot.
Are you ashamed that you threw a drop shot?
I didn't throw the drop shot. I ripped the rod out of his hand.
What do you mean?
Give me that trout. I was like, fuck you with your
Did we
trout.
tell the story?
No.
Okay. We'll tell you the story later. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about favorite techniques for deep smallmouth. Well, sorry, deep bass, both smallmouth and largemouth. What is it that is making you go out there specifically? Let's starting with you. Like, what are you looking for?
When you're fishing deep?
Yeah, fishing deep this time of the year. Like, if you're gonna go out there tomorrow, and you know you're going out deep, what's the first thing you're looking for? That's gonna key you in on that.
I mean, I won't make a cast unless I'm around bait. Like when they're deep and you're out deeper than like 15 feet, some of the lakes have a lot of cover out there, and you'll get like resident fish that are just sticking to cover, but 99% of it is barren wasteland, and they're pelagic around bait that is out there. And the reason that they're out there is because the bait is out there. They're not out there because they want to be out there. They're out there because they have to be, because that's where their food is. So if you're around the bait, you're around the fish. If you're not around the bait, you're not around the fish. So I'm basically driving around, which sucks because you need electronics, but you can also be predictive about where the bait will be because they're in pretty consistent areas. They're on the edges of deep grass. So if you know where that is, then you can find them. They're on long sloping points off the ends of them, things like that. But basically, I won't fish at all deep unless I know that I'm around bait, because if you're not around bait, you're not around fish.
I agree with all that, but try and dumb it down even a little bit more then, or I guess give anything else away that you're willing to give away for people that are really uncomfortable with fishing offshore. You know, that like, is there anything obvious you're looking for to get you started? Are you looking for humps or kind of long tapering points in the deep water for starting points, or are you literally just scanning the middle?
Don't be afraid to fish deep.
So you're looking for anything that's different. The thing that congregates fish, which includes bait fish, when you're out in a basin, Winnipesaukee. Most of Winnipesaukee is very deep, very flat, with nothing on the bottom, just sand. But then every now and then there'll be a rock pile out there, or there'll be a mooring out there, like a boat mooring out in 20 feet of water. Things like that that are an island in a sea of nothing. That is what attracts bait fish, and that's what attracts the bait fish is what attracts the bass. So you're basically driving around and you're looking for something that is different than everything else that's out there. And it could be, usually you're looking for, no, that's not true. I was going to say you're looking for hard bottom, but if you find a weed bed out there, that'll attract them too. But you're looking for the edges, usually, of those things that are different. So if there's a rock pile, you're looking for the edges of the rock pile. If there's a weed bed, you're looking for the edges of the weed bed. If you're out there on a day where it's really windy or there's a lot of current, then that is usually when those fish will move from the edges, and they'll move up on top of those things. They'll move from the edge of the rock pile, from sitting where the rock pile ends, they'll move up on top of the rock pile because the wind is pushing bait and it's going up over the rock pile. And that's when you fish a crankbait, and you do really well with things like that. But I would say, to dumb it down all the way, drive around until you see something different, rotate through those spots where you're seeing things that are different until you see where there's bait fish on something that's different, and that's where you'll get bit.
So, that was a hell of an answer.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. And I'm going to ask, so Kevin asked, do you try to find the thermocline fishing deep? I can answer that first. Yes, but not yet. As weird as that sounds, more often than not, I don't have to, but I really haven't spent that much time out there truly fishing for like pelagic fish where it would really matter.
I really want to do that.
Towards the end of the year, when you're talking like September and early October, where that thermocline is still, I mean, at that point, the fish are deep. And especially the last few years, when it's gotten hotter than hell during the summer and the fish are really pushing deep, then yes, 100%. And a good transducer with the proper settings, you can see the thermocline on your graph.
Right.
So you don't have to really look for it too hard or use any fancy technology. It is there to be seen. And at that point, I know certain lakes that I can go out and find deeper structure that the bass aren't holding up on, but if the thermocline is close enough to it, then the bait fish are holding on it. And in this particular case, a lot of smelt will like to do that. So you can go out and thermoclines push down, like we'll say 45, 50 feet. And I know some areas where there's like significant humps and rocky structure and everything out from like 55 to 65 feet, and then all around it's 90 feet. Great spot to be towards the end of the year. So that those are the instances where personally I can say, yes, I've really needed to find the thermocline or at least be aware of what depth it's at so that I can focus on some key areas and make the most of it. But, those are for like towards the end of the year and really, really deep bodies of water. But that's for me. What about for you?
I am generally of the opinion that the bait fish will tell you where the thermocline is. The bait fish, especially if they are a like smelt or alewife or something like that, they go where the thermocline is. So if you're on Winnie or you're on Squam or something like that, where you see schools of smelt, they are where the thermocline is
By
typically. Where I care about the thermocline is if you go out on Winnie and the thermocline you can tell is at 40 feet, the areas that are just easiest to fish are where 40 feet is where the bottom is where you're in 40 feet deep and you know that those fish can be on the bottom and be in that thermocline. And then you can fish on the bottom with something like a drop shot or a Ned rig or a jig or something like that. If you find like those fish, those are the fish that are easiest to catch. You can still catch fish that are at the thermocline of 40 feet over 100 feet of water, but they are much harder to catch. And that's where you're doing things like a Damiki rig, or you can do that in shallower water too, but that's where a Damiki rig or a spy bait or underspin, like things like that. And you can have really good days doing that, but those fish are typically a lot harder to trigger because you can't bump anything off the bottom. It's hard to get your bait to change direction. It's hard to trigger fish. So it's just, those fish are just more difficult to catch. So I try to find the thermocline where, and then I fish that depth of where the thermocline is, where the thermocline will be right on the bottom.
Yep. Which is funny because I know Newfound, when I was first getting into fishing for smallmouth and trying to really learn how to do it on bigger bodies of water, I was always told it's one of the toughest lakes to crack, especially later in the year. And it took me a few years to understand why that was. Not understanding thermocline and not really understanding the significance of what depth smallmouth like to be at, bait fish, seasonal patterns, all that crap. And once I learned, it was like, you go to Newfound and there is a plethora of structure to fish out to about 35 feet, which covers a huge part of the year. And then that thermocline gets down to 45. And at that point, there is almost nothing out in that lake for structure to fish at that depth. It all but disappears. There is like 3 spots. There's a couple of spots that are down at like 70 feet where you get some structure. We've tried fishing it a few times. Nada.
I caught something out of 90 feet.
That was hilarious.
Lake trout?
No,
Giant chunk of metal.
big chunk of metal.
Oh.
Off the bottom at 90
It was
feet.
like cups the way it was coming up. We were convinced he had a big fish because it was going all over the place.
Oh, that's so
I don't get it.
disappointing.
I don't know if it was like an old prop that rotted away. I don't know.
It was funny though. It made for a really good laugh.
It was. You were on the phone with Chrissy. Andrew has something massive. We gotta go. That was funny.
But yeah,
was good.
like Winnisquam, I think is kind of the same deal. If memory serves correct, I haven't spent a ton of time out there. There's a lot of just like deep nothingness. But
Where'd you say Winnisquam?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and I know that's notoriously one of the most toughest lakes to fish post spawn.
Yeah.
You know, once they get beyond like 25 feet, it seems like it's a total crapshoot.
Yeah.
With the exception of some people, as always, anywhere you go, there's a couple of guys that just understand it and always catch from shallow. Is what it is. Andrew, you can elaborate on how you and I typically like to tackle deep water because we always do it with each other all the time.
I mean, you guys just covered it.
Pretty much.
We chased the bait.
He elaborated on everything that we even do.
Yeah, we chased the bait. He's gonna do great.
It's just
We
like,
chase the bait and we look for bait. We look for fish. We find the bass with the bait. And then we just go through a billion baits to try and figure out what the hell they want to eat. Whether it's off the bottom or, like we always say, are they feeding up or are they feeding down? And then you just got to figure out the color.
Yep.
You use 2 different things, I imagine, right? Like you guys aren't out there throwing the exact same bait.
No, not usually.
Like that's what I do when I go with
Like I'll
other
throw a-
Andrew. It'll be like one of us will fish something that's like
Right.
a moving bait. The other one will fish something that's
Yeah,
finesse.
pretty
and
much that's
Yeah.
as fishing partners, fishing friends, fishing
I think that partners is the right choice.
Partners. as partners. One's throwing a
on this
hard bait,
journey.
one's throwing a soft bait.
He's power bottom fishing. Yeah.
He's on top. What happened?
You can just see the viewers just going down. That's it.
Oh God. How
Now,
weird.
I mean, yeah, you guys covered all of it.
covered,
What
that's
am I
it.
going
we
to say?
he did. He just they were like rifled right through literally everything there is to know about it.
You can't catch a fish deep now, then you got a real problem.
Yeah, Alec, you were the one specifically that said you were taking notes. I hope you did, buddy. Because there's a test next Monday. Yeah, this weekend. Do good. I said that to a coworker earlier. I had something we're doing for this new product, and I had no idea what this requirement was. My customer was asking me about, but I knew who to ask. So I was like, I asked the question. I said, this is something I want to learn. So my crayons are sharpened. I'm ready. And so I signed off my email. Teach me.
Teach me.
He appreciated it. I tell you what, we actually talked about the topic for tonight for almost a solid hour. We wasted very little time up front. We had our fun, talked a little bit about ICAST, and about 15, 17 minutes in, we got right to the topic with only a little kind of digressions here and there. For the most part, we stayed on topic
You gotta
tonight for a
break
full
it
hour.
up. You need
I'm
like
proud
30
of us.
seconds of me in it.
Yeah.
And here's Andrew.
Jody, you have already aced it. You don't need to be tested, sir. I tell you what, we're going to wrap it up then. We appreciate everybody coming on, and especially on a random Monday night. Actually, a lot more people showed up than I thought was going to happen, especially when it first got started. So not bad all in all. Next week, we are back to normal. We will be back on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. as always. I have no idea what we're going to do for next week, but I'm leaning towards doing the topic we were supposed to do the other week when you couldn't be there. We're going to have Oliver on, talking about keeping bass, and bring the science to the conversation.
Really good topic, too.
Yep.
Try and get him on with us.
Yep. He said he would do it. So
Cool. Sweet.
I'm just going to give him another heads up. And it'd be nice to kind of circle back and do that. And then week after that, I have no idea. But
There
it'd be good. We got a new machine. It works. So we'll be ready this time. And the benefit to this new machine, which thank you very much to my wife for surprising me with this. Yeah, truth be told, I was convinced that was it. That was it for the channel. I was just going to walk away from this shit. I was so frustrated.
No, you didn't.
And
so
I was
we're here. You
frustrated
got a
with
new
work.
one. Shut your mouth.
Yep.
And keep freaking talking to the camera.
This came with a fancy ass pair of headphones.
Real
so
nice.
now when we
You
have
can
calls
DJ too.
with Oliver, then you'll have headphones too, which would be good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we had 3 sets of headphones. You guys can fight over the really old Sennheisers up there.
I just bring my earpods. My AirPods.
I actually think you can. It says Bluetooth.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Cool. That'd actually work really well.
There you go.
And they die. And I'm get out of luck.
Then you're out.
I only use them for one thing anyway.
Andrew.
You haven't broke out the snare on that thing yet?
All base. All base.
Okay, wrap it up before we get canceled.
We will see you guys later.
Good enough.
No, we'll see you guys next Wednesday, as always, as well, previous to the last month.
Yeah.
We will see you guys next week.
Everyone,
Wednesday at Reel Northern. I can't do it now.
try one more time.
Real.
Real.
We'll see you guys at ReelNorthernBass at youtube.com/youtube.com. You know where we are.
Somewhere in there, if you can
pretty
decipher it, the channel is in there.
Not
good.
It's been too
It's
long.
like a C minus.
It's better than my grades in high school.
All right, guys, everybody, have a great night. We'll see you next